Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into my YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content that I'm putting out on Wednesday evenings and Saturday evenings. Trying to stay true to that. Kind of challenging, but done pretty well with it so far. The last video that I did was windshield time, and it was pretty well received. Got some great comments. This guy seemed to like it. So Stuart Weaver wrote in, James, what are your top search baits per season and depth for searching for fish, for looking for where fish might be on a given body of water? So I wanted to do a response to that. To kind of keep it short and sweet, I'm going to go ahead and just give two, one shallow and one deep. So starting out with wintertime, my number one search bait in shallow water is, it has to be a lipless style crankbait, like a striking red-eye shad or a striking two-tap, which is a rattle trap type bait, a lipless, vibrating, rattling type bait. And those generally sink. They sink. These, the ones that I'm talking about, sink. So it's a cast and retrieve type crankbait that sinks. And these are tremendous right through the coldest part of the year as far as finding fish, locating, searching for fish. I absolutely love them because in that cold water period, that tight vibration in conjunction with those rattles, fish just bite them, even in the coldest period, even when they're very lethargic and unaggressive. So lipless style crankbait, striking red-eye shad. Now fishing deep in the wintertime is, generally almost a vertical type presentation. So it's hard to kind of have a search bait. But if I was to narrow it down to one bait, I would choose a swim bait. A striking rage swimmer type swim bait. I would use either the 3 3/4 or the 3 1/4 with either a 1/4 ounce head or a 3/8 ounce head, depending upon how deep I was fishing. The 1/4 ounce is a great one, and I usually throw that on 10-pound test. 1/4 ounce is a great one. You just gotta wait a little bit longer for it to sink down to the bottom. Throw it out there, let it sink to the bottom, and I just slow roll it kind of along the bottom. And that little tail wag, that head and tail wag of that swim bait, it's so natural looking, and it really, I feel like when you're slow rolling, it mimics the activity level of the bass when they're in that cold water period. So those are my two baits for the wintertime. When it comes to the springtime, this would be pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn. If I was going to take one lure, my favorite search bait would probably be a vibrating jig, like a striking thunder cricket or chatterbait type lure. Those are just tremendous coming out of the winter into that pre-spawn period, and I've even caught fish in some stained water situations while they're on the beds, and then obviously after they come off the beds, whether they're guarding fry or chasing bluegill around or the shatter in the area. That vibrating jig is just a tremendous fish finder and catcher. That's a great one. So when it comes to fishing a little bit deeper, and I generally don't fish deep in the pre-spawn and then obviously not during the spawn, and I don't really in the post-spawn either. I try to keep, if you follow my channel, I'm a shallow guy. I do fish deep, don't get me wrong, but I am predominantly a shallow guy. When it comes to looking for fish under the time constraints of a tournament, I'm going to gravitate to my strengths, and that's going to be shallow. However, if I was going to, on the bookends, on the pre-spawn and the post-spawn, if I was going to try to find fish to look, like if I was going to pick a lure to locate fish, a search bait, I would say a jointed structure head or wobble head type setup with, say, a striking rage bug or a rage craw on the back there would be just a tremendous fish finder. Whether it's pre-spawn, where they might be a little bit deeper, and then post-spawn, as they're leaving the beds and actually on points. So I would use that for my deeper water answer to looking for fish. And the reason I like this is because I can throw it out and just kind of wind it around, and it's bouncing around in that bottom substrate. And if there's any fish in that deeper water column, I can cover water with it by just winding it around and just keeping it moving as slow as I can sometimes, and sometimes even moving it a little bit quicker to get them to bite it. A lot of guys will go with a Carolina rig in those periods, but that's my go-to, I would say, if I'm going to fish deep in the pre-spawn, post-spawn. When it comes to the summertime, probably my favorite shallow search bait, a square bill. If the water's clear or the bait's small, like a striking 1.5 KVD 1.5 crankbait, and then if the water's stained or the bait's bigger, then a striking 2.5 KVD square bill crankbait. That'd be my shallow water answer. You cast and wind, and it's a tremendous fish locator search type bait. When it comes to fishing deeper, I'm gonna say gotta be like a series 5 or 5XD or 6XD crankbait, deep diving crankbait, medium to deeper diving crankbait to search for fish. You just can't beat those crankbaits. You may not like that may not be what they want, but again, when you're searching for fish, you just want one to show themselves, reveal, hey, there's a group of them in this area, and it's about triggering a strike, getting a reaction strike. So that's definitely my go-to for finding or searching for fish in the summertime. Those are my two, shallow and deep. When it comes to the fall, I'm gonna definitely say that when it comes to shallow fishing, it's definitely gonna be a square bill again. Square bill's just tremendous in the summer and fall time for shallow locating and searching for fish. Same rules apply. Generally like 14-pound copolymer or fluorocarbon on that type setup. It's awesome. So then when it comes to fishing deeper in the fall, which I generally don't, because I feel like in the fall period, in that fall period, I feel like there's a lot of fish that are up there kind of tuned into that shallow shad migration into the backs of the creeks. And so I feel like I generally fish shallow that time of year regardless. But if I was to fish deeper, I'm probably going to say to fish deeper, to find fish in that deeper water zone, I'm going to go with, I just don't fish deep in the fall. I'm sorry. I just don't fish deep in the fall. There's so much shad shallow. If I was gonna fish a little bit deeper, I just generally don't fish deeper in the fall. In the later fall, then I definitely would say, there you go. In the later fall, definitely a striking sexy spoon. Those sexy spoons are tremendous at finding fish. You throw them out there, let it sink to the bottom, like that 5.5, I believe it's a 5.5 inch. Throw it out there, let it sink to the bottom, rip it up, and let it flutter back down. Rip it up and let it flutter back down. And that would be when the water temperature gets a little cooler, say, starts to get into the 60s and cooler. So those are the baits that I would use for search baits. Stuart, I appreciate your question. It was great, definitely food for thought. If you guys like me to go into spotted bass and smallmouth bass, we can do that as well. I don't have as much experience with the smallmouth, but I can give it a shot. Again, you guys, I thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching the videos. And if you like this, give me a thumbs up. Please like, share, subscribe. And until next time, good fishing.